Hi everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In this video we're going to talk about factorials. Okay, so first we're going to talk about some rules, factorials rules, and then we're going to simplify here some factorial expressions, and then we're going to solve two factorials problems. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. First, what's factorials? If we have this expression 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, how can we solve it? We solve 5 times 4 and then times 3 and then times 2, and we get the answer 120. So instead of writing 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, we do write it 5 factorials. And then, so it's the same, equal 120. All right? So if we have here, the first rule we need to learn is the arrangement A and P. What this rule is n factorial and minus p factorial. This is very important. You do need to know how to solve this one. So this is the n, this is the p, n factorial and minus p factorial. If we do have a and n, so the arrangement, if we do have, it's the same, we do solve n factorial, n minus n factorial. N factorial stay the same, n minus n, 0 factorial. Here, you do need to know that 0 factorial is 1. Okay, I put it down there. 0 factorial is 1. So here we do have 1, here n factorial, so the answer would be n factorial. So anytime you see the arrangement of 3, 3, so what's the answer? Should be the n, which is 3. For example, I did put here a 3, 3, the answer. You could do the same process, put the rule and everything, but it's easier for you if you know the rule. It's gonna be 3 factorial, so it's 3 times 2 times 1, 6. Now let's solve this one. If we have arrangement 3, 2, we do have, this is the n and this is the p, so n factorial and minus p factorial would be n factorial 3 and minus p, 3 minus 2, 3 factorial, 3 minus 2, 1 factorial, 1 factorial, 1. And then 3 factorial, it's going to be 3 factorial, equal 3 times 2 times 1, 6. Okay? Well, now we do need to know that n factorial, it's equal n minus 1 factorial. Okay? And we talked about 0 factorial equal 1, 1 factorial equal 1, and then if we have 5 factorial divided by 3 factorial, how can we solve this? We put the fraction here and then we say 5 factorial equal 5 times 4 times 3. I stop here, why? And I put 3 factorial. Why? Because 3 factorial, and here in the denominator I do have 3 factorial, so that I will make it easier for me. I can simplify and I still have 5 times 4 equal 20. If I don't realize that, what I could do, I can do it the same, 4, 3, and then I continue 2, and then 3 factorial times, it's 3 times 2 times 1, and then I could simplify those and I will have the same answer. But it's important to realize that you do minimize until you get a similar maybe number with the denominator, so you can simplify. Let's have another example. Here we do have 8 factorial divided by 6 factorial. How are we going to do it? We say, okay, which bigger, 8 or 6? It's 8, so I'll try to minimize 8 until I get 6, same as the denominator, so it will be easier for me to simplify. So it's 8 times 7 times 6 factorial. Okay, well, and I do have here 6 factorial. You see, I'll make it easier for me. I can simplify, and then I will have 8 times 7, which is equal 56. Now if I do have 12 minus 5 factorials, it's very easy, simple. As always, we do need to solve this part inside the parentheses and then we continue. So it's 12 minus 5 equal 7 factorial, and then I'll continue. 7 times 6 times 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, and then I'll do it either on the calculator or I solve it. 5 4 3 2 1 equal 5040. Okay, let's solve another example. If I do have 4 factorial, 6 factorial divided by 7 factorial, how I can do this? Here, if we realize that we have the denominator is bigger, so if I can start with the denominator and like minimize it, reduce it, and then I see if I can make it to similar to one of the numerators, I can simplify. We have 7 factorial, it's equal 7 times 6. I could continue times 5, but if we realize, if we notice here, we do have 6 factorial, so we can stop here. 6 factorial with the numerator, so we can simplify 6 factorial, 6 factorial, and then we continue. So we do have 4 factorial, we could write it like 4 times 3 times 2 times 1, 7, and then we do it. 4 times 4, 3, 24 divided by 7. Now, we're going to start solving the, as we call the factorials expressions. This is very important, and you do need to know how to simplify them, but it's really easy. How are we going to do that? First of all, we look which is bigger, which term is bigger, numerator or denominator. If you have n plus 1 factorial and then you have n factorial, which is bigger? Of course, n plus 1. So what I could do, I start reducing this term until I get similar term to the denominator, and then I can simplify, okay? So how always we do write this part the same, which is before the factorial. We do write it the same, n plus 1, and then we start minimizing minus 1, so n plus 1 minus 1, n. Okay, I could continue writing n minus 1 factorial, and then, but if we realize here, we do have here n, so I can stop here, n factorial. I can stop here. Why? Because I can simplify with the denominator. So I can simplify, and then I will have n plus 1. Okay, well, let's do another one. If we have, now we look here, we have n plus 2, we have n minus 1. Which is bigger? Which one is bigger? N plus 2. So we start minimizing this one until we get something similar to the denominator. So we can simplify. N plus 2 equal n. We put it here, it's the same, n plus 2. And then we start minimizing like minus 1, n plus 1, and then n. And then we don't need to continue. Why? Because we haven't got like n minus 1 in the denominator. So I do one more, minus 1. So now I can stop and I can put the factorial. Why? Because I do have n minus 1 in the numerator, and I do have n minus 1 factorial in the denominator. So now I can simplify, and then I'll have n plus 2, n plus 1, n. Okay? Well, now let's look at another example. Here I do have 2n plus 1 factorial simplified by, divided by 2n minus 1 factorial. I do the same. Which is bigger, 2n plus 1 or 2n minus 1? Of course, 2n plus 1. I start minimizing or reducing this term until I get something similar with the denominator. So I do have I put the same, like 2n plus 1, and then I start reducing like minus 1. 2n plus 1 minus 1 equal 2n. 2n minus 1 is 2n minus 1. Now I can stop because I do have 2n minus 1, which is similar to the denominator. I can put the factorial and then 2n minus 1. Now I can simplify those two terms. I will end up having 2n plus 1. Now let's find the n in this expression. Okay, I'll start with this one. It's similar. Which one is bigger, n plus 1 or n? Of course n plus 1. Okay, so let's start reducing this one. So n plus 1 will be the same because we start with this one and then we reduce by 1. So here we have n. Okay, I can continue to n minus 1, but I don't need to. Why? Because I do have here n factorial. So this is the n here. I put the factorial equals 16 n factorial. Okay, well, now I do have here n factorial and n factorial. I can simplify those, and then I will have n plus 1 equal 16. Then n equal 16 minus 1, because I get this to the other side, n equal 15. Alright? Well, now we're going to solve two factorials problems. If we have a question says, how many ways can 3 people sit in a bus that has 9 places? If you imagine you do have a bus that has 9 places, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 places, and you do have 3 people, 1, 2, 3. Okay, these 3 people can sit one here, one here, one here. Okay, or this one could sit here or here or here, and the third person could sit here or here or here. So we do have an arrangement. Okay, and of course with no repetition. Why? Because he can sit here, but this one he can't sit in the same place. So how can we solve this? We do use the arrangement, of course, arrangement rule. If we remember, we have the arrangement rule I talked about in the first of the lesson, which is A and P. This one. I do write A and P. So what's the N? N is the 9 places. And then the options are like the options 9 places, and how many people? We have 3 people, and I solve it. I put n factorial, which is 9 factorial, n minus p, which is 9 minus 3, and then I solve it. First I do this one. 9 minus 3 equal 6 factorials. Instead of doing all of the 9 factorial, like 9 times 8 times 7 times 6, what I can do, as always, I try to minimize this one until I get something similar so I can simplify. This will make you solve the problem faster and quicker. So I do have 9 times 8 times 7 times 6 factorial. Here I stop, and I do have 6 factorial in the denominator. I simplify, and I do have 9 times 8 times 7, which is equal 504. Now I'll solve another problem. If you get asked how many car plates can we form with 2 letters, and then next to it there are 2 numbers. Here I draw it like we have, this is the number plate, we have 2 letters here and then 2 numbers here. Okay, so here we do have 2 letters and here 2 numbers. First, what we need to know how many letters we have. We do have 26 letters, and how many numbers we have? We do have 10 numbers from 0 to 9, and then we do have the letters A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Okay, so and then in the question they are telling us without repetition, non-repetition. This is very important to know, so we can use the arrangement rule. We do have A. Okay, first we do have A and P. N goes to what? N goes to the 26, and the P is the 2, because 26, we have 26 letters and we have 2 letters. We need to put here 2 letters. we have two options, and then we put times, of course, and the arrangement for the second one, because why times? Because they are next to each other. And then I do have how many numbers I've got? 10, so 10 down, and then 2 numbers there, and I solve the question. I do have here, which go like 26 factorials, 26 minus 2 times 10 factorials, 10 minus 2, and then 26 factorials times 10 factorials, 26 minus 2, I do have 24, and 10, 8. And what I need to do to make it easier for me, 26 times 24 times, 25 times 24 factorial. I do have 24 factorials, those will go. And then here 10 times 9 times 8 factorial, here 8 factorial, those also I can simplify. I'll end up having 26 times 25 times 10 times 8, and I do it on the calculator. 26 times 25 times 10 times 9, which is equal 58,500. Okay, that's it for today's video. I hope you enjoyed watching it. Please like and subscribe to get more videos. Alright, bye bye.